What up?
Ooh.
We still don't have music. My name is Rene Cruz Jr.
And I'm Clifford Uncle.
And we are
Those
those fucking
fucking
nerds.
nerds.
Wait lang, tatanggalin ko lang to kasi I've been hearing a lot of people compare me to that guy, yung that guy, yung fake na supernatural person thing.
Yung chinless guy.
Uh,
What's his name?
Hindi ako nandito para magpag-away. Well, I am! So, so ayan. Nakakatamad kasi mag-wax.
Oh, nuts. Okay, never mind.
Ayan.
Okay, so what are we gonna do
Okay.
today?
Today, I don't know what time you're watching is, but today we're talking about a very, very special storyline from our childhood because the 90s was a weird time to be a comic book fan. Like
Yes,
everyone knows this. Like
yes.
the 90s was a time where Marvel had everyone in pouches. Everyone was suffering from mutant mania. Like there was the X-Men and everyone was like
Mar-
either a mutant or a member of an X team. But like DC was going in a different direction where like instead of banking on new edgy characters, they made huge changes to their
the,
core characters.
the OG superheroes.
Yes. So excuse me. They had like Aquaman lose a hand. They had Wonder Woman. That was the biker Diana, if
Oh,
you
yeah,
remember.
yeah, yeah. Jackets and all.
Batman was paralyzed and was replaced by a
Yeah.
crazy person named John Paul Valley,
Mhm.
who is now Azrael.
Azrael. Yeah.
But the most popular, of course, is the storyline that featured the death and return of Superman. So we are talking about that. This is our sample book for today. It's one of my favorite books. This one
Mm.
is from my collection. As you can see, it still
It's
bears
well read, huh?
yeah, it's well read and it has the classic DC logo. Yung luma, yung bilog. I don't like
Yeah,
the
the
new
bullet
one. Yes.
thing.
This is actually like I got this in the early 2000s Power Books.
Hey.
Um, so
Yeah,
look how cheap that is.
this-
I'm not gonna
oh,
show it on
just
the
just a,
thing.
just a quick aside. They are having a sale till the end of the month.
Well,
Eighty-
yung Power Book sa Shang, I was there last night.
Yeah.
And like 60 to 80%.
80%, yes.
It depends on the tag because they have
Yes.
tags. Some of them are 60, some of them are 80. Wala nang graphic novels.
No,
Puro Dark Horse na lang natira. Like
No,
everyone
meron.
bought everything.
no, they're taking them out in batches. Because I was at the ATC store last week.
Okay.
I was like, oh, we have the graphic novels because it's at the back room, so they're renovating the store.
Okay.
So yung space is like what? 2 by 2 meters.
Mhm.
And then I asked, can I see the graphic novels? Because I went all the way from Makati, which is true, but I don't live in Makati
Oh.
anyway. So I was there. The sales rep, I didn't get her name, sorry. She was like, sorry, sige, I'll check.
Mhm.
She was gone for like 10 minutes.
Okay.
It's like, no, we can't lift it because it's like at the bottom of a stack.
Like
So-
fucking like we'll go. Like we'll fucking dig through the thing.
I know. I was
Fucking,
wondering, can I go? No, it's employees only. So it's
Ooh,
like,
ino-hoard nyo lang.
right.
Guys, like this is like just a little sidebar, but it also happens in toy stores,
Yeah.
like the major retail toy stores. Like I'm not gonna name names, but I don't know, Toy Kingdom and Toys R Us probably they do it. Some people who work there, they
Mm.
kind of like if there's a premium item,
Right.
because you know how the rare items they come one in case,
Oh, yeah.
one per case, and like they kind of like because they have favorite customers or regular customers, which is very like I'm not talking shit about it. It's a very very nice way of like if you're a collector, like befriend the people in the sales area because
Yeah.
like because they don't know. Like I'm pretty sure that they're not really. I'm sure most of them are not really into that thing.
Yeah.
So they don't care. They just fucking just go and like ask for specific products. It's there.
It's nice because the thing with regular customers is
Mm.
they get continuous sales.
Mm-hmm.
And in my case, I'm a regular customer at Fully Booked ATC. So
Mm.
I do get, well, it's not, hindi naman I won't call it like having a pull over them. But then again, if I want to reserve a particular book now, let's say I'm kind of broken and for that particular pay period, then I can
Yeah.
ask them, hey, can you hold this for a month? And then
Especially in your case,
Yeah.
because you like buy expensive shit.
what?
You buy expensive shit, like fucking like all
Oh.
your books are. I'm happy with the soft
Which
bound.
we will be taking a look at later.
Yes, but right now we're doing this. This is actually a gift
Oh,
from
nice.
my girlfriend at the time,
Mm.
because I wouldn't shut up about this. Like I kept on discussing with her. Like you know how like when you're a geek, like guys who are watching us who have
Mm.
normal girlfriends,
Hey, Ramsey is watching.
yeah,
Hey.
they get tired of like us like non-stop comic book discussions like this Superman.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess to shut me up, and I'm sige, ito na nga lang. Fucking,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. That's nice. I mean,
Mm.
so that comprises the second half of the
The
arc
second
now.
half of the to all you kids watching the death of Superman storyline happened in the 90s. This
Hmm.
was before the whole new 52 bullshit. Um, I'm just an old comic book fan. Like I fucking hate everything right now, but like back then, comics was the bomb, and like everything that they did was important. And my only let's do a little recap. The first storyline in the series called Death of Superman.
Mm. Well, no, no, the entire thing was that of Superman. The
Yeah,
first arc was Doomsday.
Doomsday. Yes. Um, sorry. Doomsday featured the emergence of Doomsday, a mysterious being that apparently is more powerful than all of the heroes in the DC universe, at least the ones that are available.
Mm.
Because the Justice League at the time we're second string Justice Leaguers like Booster Gold, Blue Beetle.
It's not the Justice League like
The
you know them now.
mhm. But like their only heavy hitter was arguably Guy Gardner, who
Hmm.
wasn't a Green Lantern at the time. He had the
Yeah,
yellow ring, uh, and that's it.
and
Maxima.
yeah.
Maxima was like her powers were comparable to a Kryptonian, but Doomsday kicked her ass. Doomsday kicked everyone's ass, and then fucking the
Mm.
big guy fucking shows up. Boom, Superman. Everyone's like, here's the thing: if you like superheroes, you can't not love Superman.
Yeah,
He's the embodiment of what it is. Like he's the dude that started it all, man. Like he
yeah.
was the first superhero, and he's the best. Like even you know how like even Batman as a character, like
Mm.
he's fucking hates everyone.
Yeah.
He's always respected Clark.
And I think Superman is a good measure for a comic writer. Like if how do you make an overpowered character interesting?
Yes.
So if you could do that as a writer, then you've got yourself a good run.
Mhm.
So you've got like classics like All Star Superman by Grant Morrison, Man of Steel by John Byrne. But
Mhm.
we should do that.
Yes.
Like,
Well, but I have to find copies.
okay.
Those were actually the first comic books I've ever read.
Hmm.
Man of Steel by John Byrne.
Yeah.
So yeah, Superman. Like I'm more of a. I don't like superheroes with superpowers. You know this.
Right.
Like my guys are Cap and Batman, Daredevil. You know the street level people.
Mhm, right.
But almost everyone from our generation started off with knowing Superman. It's always either Superman, Spider-Man, or Batman.
Yeah.
But it's rare that like fucking nobody like from our generation like fucking I love fucking Iron Fist. Like fuck you, you're a fucking poser. It's not.
I know a guy who does love Iron Fist, but
Yeah,
it's
but like
rare. They're an
after
exception.
yeah, but people you don't start reading comics because of guys like Iron Fist.
Yeah.
You always start with the big names, and
Mm.
you know, hey, it's Paul. Hey, Paul. Thanks. And like
Hey.
you start off with characters like Superman. So going back to the storyline, Doomsday, fucking like a fucking machine of destruction and chaos. So like ends up kicking all of the superheroes' asses. Superman comes in.
Yeah.
He manages to defeat Doomsday, but at a great cost because Doomsday is like equal, if not greater, in strength. Superman actually like
He did.
he died. He died not like in the movie, the Batman versus Superman movie.
Mm, yeah.
That was Doomsday too, right? Like, but this one, like it took everything he had to put down Doomsday, and he made a choice. Cal, being the superhero that he is, being the true hero, like he knew that he had to put a stop to Doomsday at that moment because if he didn't, everyone gets fucked, you know, like because it's Doomsday. So he sacrificed his life to beat Doomsday, which is like the right way a superhero should die,
Mhm.
like in service of others. The Doomsday storyline was followed by Funeral of a Friend,
Mhm.
featuring how the entire DC universe mourned the loss of its greatest hero, and then World Without a Superman,
All right.
which showed how everyone adjusted to a world without Superman because in the DC universe, everyone has grown accustomed to knowing that Superman is there.
Yeah.
Superman is there to protect them. Like whatever happens, like doesn't matter. It's a bird. It's a plane. Like no, this time no one. It's just a plane. So, uh, then comes the stories that are featured in this book. This book covers the final two story arcs in the Death and Return of Superman saga, which features Reign of the Superman, wherein, like, in a world without Superman, suddenly four new Supermen show up,
Mhm.
and then the eventual return of Superman. But I love this story so much because first off,
Mhm.
it brought forth one of my favorite characters in comic books of all time, Superboy.
Oh, who? Connor
So
Kent.
yeah, man, like he's the reason why I love jackets
And he's
and
back with when Bendis came in
Young
the scene.
Justice is back.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's awesome.
I don't know what happened to Superman's actual son, but again,
He's somewhere with his grandpa.
really
Yeah, Jor-El is alive.
bullshit. Fucking I hate new comics, but but yeah, man, like there were four Supermen who emerged. One of them is Superboy, which is codenamed S13, which was Cadmus's attempt to
Mhm.
clone Superman because they figured the world needed a Superman. So they tried cloning him,
Mhm.
but 13th version of the experiment, he escapes before reaching maturity, so he's super young. Then we have John Henry Irons, known
Mm.
as Steel. Now this guy is it's like a poor man's Iron Man.
Yeah, he had a movie though.
Yes, starring
Mm.
Shaq.
Steel.
Oh, Oscar bait that is. But yeah, Steel is he's a guy who was inspired by Superman after Superman saves his life. And when Superman died, he decided, like, I'll do my part. He wasn't he was the one of the Supermen who didn't want to take Superman's
Yeah,
place. He just figured, like, so now that Superman is dead, he
gotta fill
needed
the
to do his
void.
part.
Yeah,
Yeah, he needed to do his part. Like, he has the S symbol on his armor. This is him.
yeah.
It's a tribute. It's not him calling himself
Superman.
Superman. It's just called the Man of
Well,
Steel.
which is what the other guys are doing.
Yeah. Then we have the Eradicator, the mysterious Kryptonian with the visor and the energy powers.
It's very 90s. You know?
Yes, it is
The
the
visors are very
Eradicator.
90s.
And they don't call him the Cyborg now because
Yeah,
Cyborg
some
is
other
Vic
guys, Cyborg.
Stone, and Vic Stone is super popular now.
Yeah.
But they have the Cyborg Superman,
Mhm.
which is, as the story progresses, made everyone think that he was the actual Superman.
Yeah,
Like,
and it was nice that they kept the secret until the
yeah, Cyborg Superman is a half Kryptonian, half machine. He has all of Superman's powers, but he also has that thing where he can, like, literally bond with any machine. It's
Mhm.
like Ultron and Superman rolled into one, and fuck, that's that's pretty badass.
makings of a villain right there.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then, of course, in the center, as the title suggests, it is the return of Superman. So he shows up at the end, saves everyone. Like, again, if you haven't read this story, like, read the entire thing: his death,
Mhm.
his return, everything in between, because it's one. Like I say this with every episode, but every book that we review, it's a modern classic. Like, if you're a fan of comic books, this is a must read. What I like about, like, you mentioned about writers, like being, like a good writer is like
If he can, yeah.
make good stories for Superman. This is kind of like it's me making the fucking decision that Dan Jurgens may be like a one hit wonder, because this is his only contribution to
The
it's his
entire.
only, like, significant contribution to the comic book world. Because after this, like, he, even in comic book conventions, he's referred to as the man who killed Superman,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Dan Jurgens is, again, he kills off Superman. It was his brainchild, and yeah, he did it well. Like, even the return, he did well. He
Yeah.
wrote most of it, but of course this spanned all of the Superman titles.
Mhm.
And what I like about Reign of the Superman is, like, there were four Superman, each one had their own title.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Adventures of
Is
Superman
it
had
is it in
Superboy,
the
and
book?
yeah,
Nice.
so but it was predominantly written by Dan Jurgens. After this, though, he would go on and he wrote some, like, a bunch of issues for Captain America,
He did, yeah.
and he it was it was supposedly like a good run, supposedly,
Totally.
because it was him writing, Kubert was drawing it. He
Which
featured
Cubert?
Andy.
Oh, so that's where he went. Okay. Well,
Mhm.
I wasn't really following
It was a
all the
time where
Marvel
like Cap shield
films.
was
That,
broken, so he had the
okay. Yeah.
energy
Yeah. Yeah.
shield. But then like it was a whole fucking complicated story with him going to Wakanda, fighting Claw, and reassembling his destroyed shield. It was,
Okay.
it was, it wasn't very memorable.
Yeah. Well,
And that's the extent of my knowledge about his work after Death of Superman.
I,
And it's only because I read
uh,
Captain America religiously. But yeah, man, it was again. This is a very significant because right now you have Superboy and Steel
yeah,
still,
they're still in
yeah,
DC
they're
universe.
still significant members of the DC universe based from the storyline.
Mm.
Um,
Eradicator recently was in the Supergirl
yeah,
DC.
Eradicator isn't really a person; he's like an AI,
Oh,
a
sorry, not
Kryptonian AI.
Eradicator, the other guy,
Cyborg.
Cyber Superman. He
Yeah, and
was in
Cyborg
Supergirl.
Superman, it became one of the greatest supervillains in DC Comics history. In fact, his plot here, again, we're kind of spoiling it because yeah, he's the bad guy, like you can tell.
30-year-old spoiler.
Yeah, sorry about that, but it's still worth a read though. Like,
Yeah.
uh, Cyborg's plan here, like to basically destroy Earth, it resulted in Hal Jordan becoming Parallax.
Oh, shite. So didn't know
Yes,
that.
like I'm not gonna get into so much detail, but the reason why Hal became Parallax is
Mhm.
because the city exploded.
So there's
Guess who blew it up? And it happened here in this storyline. So
okay.
yeah, like you're like reading a gem when it affects the entire universe wherein it's born.
Right.
Like it sent ripples throughout the DC universe because when Hal became Parallax, it paved the way to like other
Kyle
storylines.
Rayner
Kyle
and
Rayner, my favorite Green Lantern,
and
still.
JLA. Woohoo.
Yes. Also paved the way to Green Arrow coming back from the dead.
Oh yeah.
It was all connected. It's all connected.
The late '90s were had a lot of good stories.
DC was the fucking bomb in the 90s.
Yeah.
And you can make the argument now that they're still like pumping out superior comics.
Huh.
But it's not because DC is so good. It's just because Marvel's so bad.
Yeah. I actually had to cut down my present comic price of recommendations lately.
Yeah. So yeah, like this is again a highly recommended read. Like you should get this.
Right.
Not this. You can't find this anymore.
Not that particular edition.
Yeah,
No.
but they have released a bunch of different
Yeah.
versions. Sell them.
I'm not getting that.
No, I know.
No, I was just reading up this afternoon about it. Thing is, if you could actually sell copies of it, if you want the entire Superman, no, Death and Return of Superman arc, you could. There is a 4-volume edition of it.
The
So
softbound paperback edition.
yeah,
Yeah.
so you got Doomsday first arc, and then
Funeral for
Uh,
a Friend.
for a Friend, and then wow,
World Without a Superman.
was it? No, it's the no. Oh
Yeah,
wait,
man.
no. Yeah, Funeral for a Friend, and then Reign of the Superman. And
Oh
then,
yeah. Reign of the Superman again. It's just the four of them.
and then the Return of Superman, which is a different edition, which is the second half of this
Yeah,
book.
because when it was originally released, we only like for people who like collected editions, you only needed to buy 3 books. It was The Death of Superman, World Without a Superman, which included Funeral for a Friend,
Right.
and then this, which features Reign of the Superman and The Return of Superman.
Yeah.
We say Superman, so
So Return of the Superman.
the Ubermensch. No, that's
Ooh.
not. No.
Sieg Heil.
No, we're not that kind of page.
Anyway, if there were previous editions, if you can hunt down the, not sure if you saw this before, but the hardcover with the Blu-ray.
Yeah,
That was-
I
that
think
was
that
cool.
there was an animated movie that came out called Superman Doomsday.
Right.
It was done by Paul Dini, the legend behind the Batman animated series, the Superman animated series, and the Justice League animated series.
Was that the first animated thing?
I mean, like animated movie?
Yeah.
Nah, not really, not the first.
One of the
Because
first few.
one of the firsts, because I think the first was Mask of Phantasm,
Oh yeah.
and then Sub Zero also featured Batman who was taking on Mr. Freeze, and then
And Wonder Woman, I think.
there was a Wonder Woman one, a Green Lantern one, and Superman Doomsday was like a really like far like in the middle of the whole animated
Yeah.
stuff because like you say what you want about DC's live action movies, but their animated movies are the fucking bomb. Like it's
Yes.
not, you can't not watch them.
Yeah.
and they're based literally like they're very faithful to the source material while still being like having an identity of its own.
Yeah, they made it relevant.
Mhm.
Like, we're gonna talk about the newer animated adaptation
Yes.
later. Um, if you are looking to buy the entire thing in one package, there has been two omnibuses that were released before, and a new edition is going to come out. It's due out April. It's
This
April.
April.
Awesome. Um,
That's omnibus form, yes.
yes. So
Okay, so two
oversized
volumes.
hardcover. It's like heavy as fuck, and
Yeah.
it's expensive as fuck at $150.
Each or both?
Is that single volume?
Ah, okay, but still, it's worth it if you have the
Yeah.
cash to burn. Like, I can go get it. It's fine. Um, Again, it's if you're a fan of the Superman mythology, you
Hmm.
really need to read this and own it because like this is a big part of Superman's history.
Yes.
It's not just because he died, but it defined his relationship with Lois. It showed how pure their love is.
Yeah.
This actually led. This is also another event that led up to their marriage
Oh yeah.
because they were engaged
Just
and then he
that was
died.
right after.
Yeah.
And hence the enhanced covers and shit.
Yes. So reading about Lois dealing with the death of the love of her life is very, and how she reacted to all of these imposter Supermen, and because like she went out and like asked a reporter
Hmm.
and asked Clark's significant other, like she made it a point like I will find out which one is the real one.
Yeah.
So she sought out each and every one of these Superman, like, and it was always amazing. Like there was a scene there that I loved so much because Superboy likes wearing sunglasses, right?
Mm.
And Lois was the first person who actually called him Superboy because he was
Yeah.
insisting like I'm Superman, like
Yeah. Yeah.
more like Superboy. And then what he fucking does is like, really, like you can't really like tell. Like, what if I wear my glasses and then I slick my hair back?
Yeah.
And then she starts like Clark. It was so great. Of course, he got along with John Henry Irons because
Yeah.
Irons is a really good guy, and then Lois actually made the decision like, fucking this cyborg Superman is the real deal
Mm.
because they had Emo Hamilton from Cadmus do tests, and yeah, it is Superman. Like it's Kryptonian DNA.
Right.
But truth is, like, Kryptonian DNA is everywhere, though. Like
Yeah.
it's not really. But yeah, well, it's a very
And the best part is Superman had a nice, a sweet ponytail.
yeah. Like this is the start of mullet Superman, where you had like it was the '90s. Like we need some time markers here, like Superman, long haired mullet, fucking
Clark had a ponytail, not
yeah.
Superman. Yeah, he's like doing it like this.
Mm. And like everyone who fucking hates on Superman, like everyone can be brave if you have superpowers. So let's keep in mind, like if you read this, Superman again, slight spoiler, Superman comes back from the death, zero powers, still march up, like steps up to
Yeah.
Cyborg with no powers. All he has are those Kryptonian guns and
Yeah.
shit. Like
That accounts for the black suit. It's sort
Yeah.
of like it's energizing him.
yes, but it's energizing only like enough to like keep him alive. Like
Yeah.
he didn't have any powers.
It's not intended for battle.
Like that's it's actually like what I have so many reasons why I love this story, but one of the like when you're reading, I love reading stories that remind you as to why you love these characters. And like I read this when I was in high school. Every time I reread this, I still mark out. I still like act like a fanboy because like, oh my god, this is Superman. Like you can't fucking deny that this is what Superman will do. He
Yeah.
fucking fights evil, powers or no, like no matter the circumstance. And he never got pissed off about like all these
Yeah.
imposters. Like he's not like, no, I'm Superman. Like, no,
Yeah.
that's not what he's about.
He had good upbringing.
Yes, but the Kents are apparently they
They're
can raise a good
Oh.
boy. I hate that we sustained it for so long. Like, Kents.
we should do this.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
I Chuck Norris.
That's not the
Alright,
thing.
alright,
No,
alright.
no. It was the
Fucking
OG
okay.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, you have seen the recent animated adaptation.
Yeah, like the reason why I picked this book to review for this edition is that I recently watched the animated adaptation of Reign of the Superman,
Yeah.
which was a sequel to Death of Superman, which is also a DC animated movie.
A few months
And
ago.
yeah, and they did it so well because in that in the Death of Superman animated movie, it was Doomsday against the real Justice League,
Hmm.
like Batman and Wonder Woman. Like, what I didn't like though, like again, I love Batman so much, but like Doomsday just ripped apart Hawkman and fucking like Martian Manhunter, Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Like, Batman is the one that's up. Like,
Yeah.
like come
That's
on,
some
man.
good armor,
Well,
man.
that's too much, man. Like, we all know Batman is amazing, and like, yeah, he can, as long as he has time to prepare, he can beat
Yeah.
anyone. But,
I saw some
but
guys complaining about it because the continuity was set in the Justice League War, which is an adaptation of the New 52
mhm,
Justice League. So you've got Cyborg and
mhm.
Hal Jordan, Green Lantern,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Shazam was
oh
there
yeah,
in War, but
yeah, but not in. And then you got the two armed Aquaman.
yes,
So it's in the same continuity, and so it's if you're a fan of the original, the 90s Death of Superman, it looks off at the first 10-15 minutes,
yeah,
but once you
it
get
gets
into the
better.
story,
Yeah,
yeah,
it gets so much better. Like again, it's called the Death of Superman, so
Mhm.
obviously he dies in the end. If you like complain about spoilers, but come on, it's called the Death of Superman.
Yeah.
All right.
It's in the title, man.
Yeah, it's like we
Dude.
were watching Star Wars and it was called Episode 5. I am your father. Like, come on, like it's. Not... Well, yeah. Uh, the sequel is Reign of the Superman,
Mhm.
which is based on this. So we get all four. And have you seen it?
Yes.
Like they
So,
were very faithful with the comic book
yeah.
characterizations of the four.
Yeah, you mentioned the lowest named Connor Kent Superboy, and it was
Yes.
there.
Yeah, it was
The
also
right
there.
beats are there.
I what I didn't like is the convenient like fucking sweeping to the side of the Justice League.
Yeah,
Like let's
that's
fucking put them in a different dimension.
Poof.
Yeah. Oh hey,
Alright.
Kulai.
Was
Yay, Kulai like superheroes,
yay.
but
We should
the ones with the big boobs.
Lady
Hmm.
Death.
Yeah, fine. Vampirella.
Oh, Deja
We should
Torres.
do like yeah,
We should
let's
we
do
should
an
get
episode. Yeah, like fine.
the title Big Boob Superheroes.
Why nerds?
Don't damage your
Yeah, why nerds have like
and that's what differs that counts the difference between nerds and geeks.
yeah, because nerds
Yeah,
they don't
we're
get laid.
uncomfortable to be with.
Oh, Kulay Consul says I like Victor Magtanggol.
Yeah. Hammer time.
He's more of a. I thought you were more of an Onanay guy. There you go. Onanay, what's my name? What?
Jeez. Okay.
Onanay is like that. Okay, we should not be discussing it in a comic book review, but it's weird because the basic premise is that she's a
It's our
midget.
show. We can do whatever we
Yeah,
fucking
it's
want.
just that's it. That's the show. She's a mother and she's a midget. Like, okay, so what? Like,
What's our show?
yeah, on the GMA. GMA is like the best shows.
Yeah, they have the weird show. Weird
Yeah.
show. What is that show with the
The what?
two-faced thing?
Wait, they're making memes about that. Karamia.
Oh yeah, I thought that was a meme.
No, like that was the main premise. Like she
And
was born and her sister's face is like
I thought
behind.
it was a parody, and then it turned out there actually is a show.
It
It's
is a parody of a good show.
okay.
I got used to write for GMA. I should not be making
Yeah.
superpower, super small.
Hmm. Super small what?
Oh, no, 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 no.
The entire person is small. Okay.
Yeah, she's I Kulai would describe that person as person.zip.
We should do an episode about it.
No.
We're not doing comics, but yeah, we're just going
Midget superheroes. You have Puck, you have Pip.
and Ant-Man. No, that's
No,
Just-
like he turned small on
see,
purpose.
I'm a total noob when it comes to Marvel.
Really?
I never followed Marvel like not except X-Men because
Yeah.
90s, I started and then Avengers were like, huh? Who?
Avengers were weird back in the 90s. Like it fans like me were the ones like, okay too.
Yeah.
Like it's not all bad. Like and then you fucking have the lineup, which is the Black Knight, Cersei, Crystal. Like where's Thor? Where's Iron Man? And Cap was a part timer.
Who's that guy with the
What?
Thor guy with it?
Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah, he had a good arc.
He's pretty badass.
Yeah.
But yeah,
He ugly though.
well, Yes, because
Pangit.
he's from a different land. Well, we're not saying people from different lands or from a different dimension. I mean,
Okay.
or planet.
Pangit.
And it was actually his hammer that's called Stormbreaker.
Was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
because yeah, you know, in Infinity War the movie, like
Yeah,
his new
yeah,
hammer,
yeah, yeah.
Stormbreaker. No, that was Better Ray Bill's hammer.
What was that other Thor guy with the mask? What's his name?
Oh, that's Eric Masterson,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
who
no.
ended up being Thunderstrike.
Oh yeah.
It
That's
wasn't a hammer; it was a mallet.
right.
Actually, that's what they called it, my mallet.
What is a sculptor?
Yeah, because they can He was no longer worthy of wielding Mjolnir, especially that Thor came back.
Hmm.
So Odin just gave him like, here, use this mallet. Similar powers. Like,
If
fuck,
you
you
rub
could just
it,
hand those out. Fuck, like, why? What's so special about the hammer then?
I have a Thor hammer here somewhere.
I saw it, like the Jollibee thing. Is that like a flash drive? That's a flash drive, yes.
There's a flashlight that doesn't work. Fuck you, Joey.
It's from Jollibee. Yeah, man, regularizer employees.
Here's a mallet. If you rub it, it gets bigger.
Yeah, man.
You should do that, bro.
Yeah. Like, yeah, Return of Superman. Like, we got super psyched. It hasn't happened before, but yeah. So
Did any of those guys survive the event? I mean, I couldn't recall what happened to Eradicator.
yeah, in this event
After.
after the event, like the Eradicator was.
Is he still alive?
Oh, look, after this, they all went their separate ways. The Eradicator had a short-lived series,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't popular enough, so it was just like, I think it was just like 12 issues. It's basically still him, but no more Superman logo.
Yeah.
Because again, he's a Kryptonian weapon.
Yeah, I remember the animated series. It was like the sort of battery.
Yes. Mhm.
What was it the same? I can't really remember.
It was no, it's slightly different. It's the comic books as usual. It's a lot more complicated. It's unnecessarily complicated, but basically, Eradicator is a Kryptonian that exists to protect all Kryptonian life.
No,
So when Superman died, it was up to him to
I loved how they did Steel
yeah.
in the animated adaptation. Though.
Mhm.
I mean, that,
Yeah, he was
I
an
mean-
an engineer, and yeah,
I mean, there was
because in the comics he's a construction worker.
makes sense.
Yeah, that's why his
The rivets.
yeah, everything. He's a construction worker.
Although I
and-
didn't like the part where he basically
Iron
did Iron
Man.
Man. I mean,
Iron Man
everyone's
helmet,
doing
yeah.
that shit now.
But after this event, yeah, Superboy
Mhm.
went to Hawaii.
Oh,
So that's where his own series was set. He was living in Hawaii, and he was being like guarded over by Cadmus.
okay.
They put him under the watch of the Guardian and Dubilex.
I know Guardian. I don't know who the other.
Dubilex is like an alien that works for Cadmus. He can read minds, and yeah, I love the series simply because I love Superboy, but it wasn't a good series.
Sounded like a medication. Headache. Dubilex.
Dubilex. Steel got his own series as well,
Oh, yeah.
but he stayed in
He's still around, eh?
yeah, he stayed in Metropolis, and then like they did New 52, which was like basically erased all of this.
Mhm.
Because fuck New 52, but yeah, they erased all of this, and they retained John Henry Irons, but he was working for Cadmus, if I'm not mistaken. He wasn't Steel. I don't think he became Steel, but
He's
he was a
aluminum.
top scientist in Cadmus. Connor got erased.
He's back though, so
Oh yeah, man. Like, but he died. Like the character development for Superboy, by the way, so it's another thing I love about the character because essentially when he appeared, he was like 4 days old,
yeah.
and he was this immature, impulsive, like brash little asshole that's so easy to hate. But again, you're 4 years old. You're 4 days old,
Yeah.
and you have Superman's powers.
I remember reading a couple of single issues that
Mhm.
featured Superboy. It's like, Jesus, I want to punch this kid.
Yeah, but again, you can't really blame him. He's a kid. And then, like, over the years, if you kept on reading, he matured so much, especially when he became friends with Tim Drake.
Mhm.
Like in Young Justice, he grew up so much, and then they graduated from Young Justice into the Titans.
Yeah.
And he fucking died in Infinite Crisis, taking on Superboy Prime.
Okay, now I remember.
Yeah, like in black T-shirt.
Yeah.
To those who are fans of the cartoon Young Justice, This Superboy is a Superboy there in the series.
Okay.
So the black shirt.
Yeah, because
Superboy.
the Superboy that they've been promoting recently is John Kent.
John Kent, the son of who again also gone now.
It's a long story.
Yeah,
We
like
might,
we'll need more time for
yeah.
that. The Super Sons. It looks like a good title. I might read.
Oh,
Um,
no, the first Super Sons from Rebirth, that was really really
good,
good.
really. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll pick it up. 'Cause
Even at
I love
omnibus.
young superheroes. I love it when they're like,
It's
so,
it came out wrong, man.
yeah, I know. Like I love it when they're young
No.
and tights. Um, but yeah, I think we covered all. Again, Cyborg eventually became like a real badass, like a top shelf supervillain. He came back for a few major story arcs against Superman, like the Trial of Superman,
Mhm.
which I also have. I also
Oh
love.
yeah.
And he became a member of the Sinestro Corps.
This was after Green Lantern Rebirth with Jeff Johnson and everything. I mean,
It was during that time.
Yeah.
After Rebirth came like Blackest Day and Brightest Night.
right.
Oh, like I think it's
No, Brightest Day
Blackest
first, and
yeah,
Blackest
yeah.
Night.
So that entire storyline, the storyline that they introduced all the spectrums of the lanterns, Cyborg was there. He had the fucking Yellow Lantern. Sinestro actually assembled a very impressive roster of villains to
Yeah.
fill out the Sinestro Corps. Uh, but and then
That's
I
a
think he's
different
back.
story.
I think he's back in the comic books. Cyborg, I mean Cyborg Superman.
Hmm. He wasn't TV.
he is in the Supergirl series.
Yeah.
But right now, I don't know. A lot of them are unaccounted for. Connor just came back in the Young Justice. Is it written by Bendis?
The new Young Justice, yeah, that's Bendis.
I'm gonna read that. And the Robin is Damien.
Yes.
It's not Tim,
No.
but Bart is there, right? There's a Flash there.
I don't know. I keep getting mixed up. I mean, I know that the Bart is back. Oh yeah, he is.
So
Last-
Bart is in the.
Had a full page panel and everything.
Okay, because Bart is. I loved Young Justice, the comic book series, because it was just the three of them. Superman. I'm sorry, Superboy, Robin, which is Tim Drake, and Impulse.
Okay, now that makes sense. I mean, they were earlier this year. They were going to publish a complete omnibus, Impulse omnibus.
Ah,
They were going to do that, and then they
Why?
canceled it. And then
but
I saw a listing for a pre-paperback collection that collects his first appearance in the early some of Flash
Yeah.
issues, and then his own series.
let's do that. I have like a really thick softbound of Young Justice, which
Okay, nice.
features
That's
their
nice.
first appearance, which was in the JLA storyline, World Without Grown-Ups,
Mhm.
and then several arcs from their own series.
Or without grown-ups. So
Yeah.
somehow which came first, Young Justice or Runaways?
Runaways definitely came first.
Okay,
Like we had the Runaways back, even like in the '90s.
that was a good
Mhm.
series. I mean, that proved that you could actually have a convincing, you know,
Teenage
Uh,
lineup, yeah.
and still be good. Or maybe it's because who did that? Brian K. Vaughan.
Yes. Well, again, it all boils down to writing.
True.
When you have a really good writer, and I think we both agree with this, like it doesn't matter who the character is. Like there are levels to being. That is my theory that there are levels to being a comic book fan. Like you start off, and I discussed this before. You start off by reading up on characters that you like. Like let's say you love Daredevil, so just fucking read Daredevil.
Yeah.
After a while, you then start discovering these creators, these writers, and then you just follow where they go.
Yeah.
I remember I wasn't a big fan of who was this character. I want to say one of the Marvel Street level guys.
Hmm.
I wasn't a big fan of the Defenders.
Oh, which Defenders?
The newer one, the TV one,
Oh yeah. Okay.
because I don't like Iron Fist. I don't like Luke Cage. I don't like Jessica Jones. I love Daredevil. But then, like the dude that fucking wrote the latest series,
Hmm.
like it was only 12 issues. I read it in one sitting.
Hmm. That's good, huh?
It's good. It was a little anticlimactic, but it was really good. Because again, the interactions and stuff like that. Like a good writer can make you like characters that you don't like.
True.
I fucking hate Wolverine.
Really.
I fucking hate him. I think he's an overrated, overexposed bastard. But when Bendis wrote him in New Avengers, like, okay, like fucking, I can deal with this, especially when he's talking to guys like Spider Man and Luke Cage, and
Oh yeah.
like, yeah. So like actually, New Avengers is a very, very ideal example of having a good writer make you like characters that you normally don't like. Because when I was against the New Avengers because when they did Avengers Disassembled,
Yeah.
like it wasn't the best story arc, but again, like it's a changing of the guard. The
There
Avengers are,
there were diamonds in the rough.
yeah, like Avengers are down, like fine, no more Avengers. And then they announced new Avengers, like okay, they're just Justice Leaguing the Marvel universe because like they're having Cap, Iron Man, fucking Spider Man, Wolverine, like come on. But then I read it and it made sense, and like you can make things work. Like a good writer can make things work, like no matter how far fetched an idea is. And
I guess another indication of whether a good story arc is how good a story arc is if it's kept in it's if it's kept in print,
yes,
right? Like Death of Superman. I mean, how many editions now?
yeah, and this was
Right?
released like back in the day, man.
1993.
Yeah,
I checked the
1993.
copyright page.
1993, and it's 2019. They're coming out with new editions, and like
It's there.
it's
I mean,
timeless, man. Like you can, like even the another example, Teen Titans.
oh yeah.
Love the Titans up until now. They're making TV shows, they're making cartoons, they're making animated movies. So you have like live action series. Because again, the Titans are an amazing collection of fucking
Yeah,
characters.
they're
And
not just. I mean, everyone is under the impression that, or many people are under the impression that just a bunch of sidekicks.
but that's the thing. That was one of the like driving forces of
Oh.
like why the series was very, and it was written very well. It's hard to hate the Titans. And then the current comic book, fuck this. Like, the older Titans, the one under Nightwing,
You mean
sucks so much. It's just
Nightwing
called
Who?
Titans.
It's Rick Grayson now.
Ah, fuck that, man. Like yeah,
weird.
like the in my opinion, in my humble opinion, the current Titans title just blows. It just blows.
It's not just you. A lot
Uh,
of people.
yeah, like nothing. It has no redeeming quality. Like no character. Like no fucking like not even believable character interaction.
Right.
It doesn't have to be good. It just has to be believable. But no, there's nothing. And like the art sucks. It's like Liefeld 2.0. It's so bad.
Mhm.
And then you compare it to Teen Titans, the one under Damien, fucking amazing. It was like like I guess it's also confusing because the whole Wally West thing. That was the first arc for Titans.
Yeah,
The
well,
return of the white Wally West.
Yeah, that was the premise of Rebirth. I mean, Wally has to return, and then
Mhm.
they sort of have to neatly insert all the characters that disappeared before Rebirth, like Legion of Superheroes. You got um, Connor Kent.
Clark Connor.
Yeah, and then it's been it's it's too much filler. Is
Yes.
what I'm saying. I mean, they could have just made it thought, but sales. And I think they were also stretching it out because of Doomsday Clock,
Doomsday Clock. Yes.
which purportedly
Is it done?
no.
Motherfucker. Like,
In
when
fact-
did it come out? Like 2017?
No, early 2018, I think.
It's only
issue
12
number-
issues and it's
Issue
not
number
done yet.
9 is supposedly due next week, but it got delayed to another week.
Do your
So,
job, DC.
it's Jeff Johns.
Yeah. But yeah, again, like we went off on so many tangents simply because this story is again a very pivotal story in like comic book history, not just DC, but in comic book history.
In general.
And this is why we went on so many tangents because this story arc is a really, really good example.
It shook the industry, man. Superman can
Yeah,
die.
yeah, Superman can die,
Why am I
and
doing that?
like most people didn't like the fact that Superman died, but they did it so well. They did it in a way that it shaped comic books. It introduced new interesting characters that I have even like to this day
Mm.
are still, like still popular, still watchable, still readable. They introduced new pivotal supporting characters in the
Mhm.
form of John Henry Irons. And yeah, like you remember these stories and you remember them fondly because they're great. It's something that I think modern day comic books don't have. Like you can't find the again. I'm not against characters dying and coming back to life, but if you do it well,
Yeah.
it fucking works. Like the Winter Soldier. For
Well,
the longest time, Bucky was the character that you couldn't bring back. So
but
it
then
was such a like, but then he was brought back, and we all know how that ended. Like it's he's Bucky, like one of the most popular comic book characters in the world. So you need to just do it right. Do it like if you're gonna go big, like killing off Superman, you have to make sure that it pays off.
in a
And this storyline, like this is just a part of the major storyline. It paid off so well. And again,
and
wow.
even if you're a casual Superman fan, this is one of those books that even if you're a casual collector, you still should have in your library, no matter how small it
Yeah,
is.
and it's an easy read. Like you can just jump in.
Yeah,
You don't need tons of history
and it's
to
not even hard
appreciate.
to find.
Yeah, it's not like it's everywhere still. Again, it boils down to your preferred format,
Hmm.
and mine is always the softbound stuff because I like carrying books around,
Yeah,
and he likes expensive shit
I
because
like
I
them
don't know.
hard. No, I just like them hard. Okay.
So yeah, man. Like, so that's it. It's highly recommended. Buy it. Buy it in like whatever form that you're comfy
Spend
with.
your money.
Yeah, man. It's worth spending your money on. We're still waiting on that fully booked sponsorship.
Yeah.
Don't you write for them?
Well, I still do.
Yeah, like he
Yes.
does
I
book
mean,
reviews.
we sort of link the reviews just so we can get whatever. But
like, hey, fully booked.
we're crying for help.
Yeah, like this is the fifth episode. Like after probably 10 more, we'll run out of books from our collection.
Yeah. So we
Because not
will-
everything is reviewable, you know?
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Throw
Next,
us-
next thing you know, we're going to do really esoteric titles.
don't make me review Streets of Poison.
I don't even know what that is.
It's when Captain America was addicted to drugs.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the worst storylines ever.
Like Batman Venom.
No, man, like they have a drug which is similar to Shabu
Okay.
because it's actually meth.
Hmm.
Cap was stopping like a bunch of criminals, and then the fucking warehouse explodes.
Mhm.
So he inhales a bunch of it,
Hmm.
and it bonds with the super soldier serum.
Okay.
Because he's just fucking high the entire storyline. He's just fucking
Shabu.
like on paper it looks like a really really good storyline because it features Cap, of course,
Yeah.
the Black Widow, Bullseye, Daredevil, Kingpin, the Red Skull.
Yeah. Sounds like an all-star lineup.
But, but it's so dumb.
Okay.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever read.
So cacophony level dumb.
Yeah, it's like it's written by like the worst the writer I hate the most, Mark Grunwald, who wrote Captain America from the 80s to the fucking 90s.
Yeah.
He tried to kill him several times. He turned Cap into a werewolf. Like fuck that guy. I'm sorry, he's dead, but
Yeah.
it was all him. All the Cap bullshit.
Yeah, I
all
remember
him.
his name because he was an editor at Marvel, but I
Yes.
didn't even know he could write.
Yeah. Like he's the reason why I was embarrassed to like tell people that my favorite Marvel character is Cap.
Because the '90s were weird, and that's the reason why you hate the '90s.
And
Yes.
that's why I love the fucking
'80s.
no Mark Waid
Okay.
because he saved it.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the thing was, yeah, let's do that. I'm gonna bring that book, Operation
Nice.
Rebirth. Let's do that at some point.
Been meaning to read that for a long time.
It was great. It was Mark Waid's first foray into the thing, and yeah, and like again, I followed Mark Waid because of that. Like he revived Cap in a way that restored him to his glory, like the
Yeah.
like the 70s, the 60s Cap, where he's working with Shield and shit like that. I think he was a cool spy and all that. And then he left the book after a really really glorious run to write Kingdom Come.
Oh, that was before Kingdom Come. Okay.
Yeah, it was
Okay,
not.
I did not
It was
know that.
97.
Okay.
And then after Kingdom Come, Mark Waid does an equally like he followed Grant Morrison in JLA. Like after Morrison left, it was him.
Oh yeah.
So like Mark Waid
Royal
is
Free.
yeah, and like right now he's still banging out really good books like Irredeemable. Like
Oh yeah, that was good.
oh yeah, I was thinking about examples earlier. Like fucking Mark Waid, my favorite comic book writer, made me read the Hulk. The Indestructible Hulk from Marvel now. That's all
Yeah.
him.
That was good.
He made the Hulk like fucking interesting. No, not Hulk. Banner. He made Banner so interesting. He made Banner an agent of Shield.
I totally did not know that, but now I will read it.
Indestructible Hulk. Like read the entire run. They made Tony admit that Banner is smarter than him. So yeah,
Damn.
but that's our recommendation. Death and Return of Superman. Definitely fucking read it, buy it, own it, show it to your kids someday, and they will love you more.
That's good parenting.
Yes.
Okay, and on that note, hey, we will have another episode after this.
Just give us a few minutes to rest, eat our peanuts.
Want to touch my peanuts?
Yeah, sure. Like I just paid off your dick joke. It's great.
He's eating my peanuts. Okay. That being said,
Yeah. My name is Rene Cruz Jr.
and I'm Clifford Dunfo.
Thank you for watching. We have been those fucking nerds.
Stay tuned.
One more in a bit.